Welcome everybody to the November Asabloy Academy training for specialty products. Remember today, we'll go over and introduce you to a high level of all the specialty products of Asabloy store group that they present. You are allowed to ask questions. You can either type it in the Q&A or you can raise your hand. Also, at the end of this program here, within 24 hours, you will receive an email, a thank you letter. It's an email confirmation of taking this class, and it's good for a 1 credit hour. Keep that in mind and watch your junk mail in case it might land in there. And make sure, if you don't get it, please get a hold of us and we will get you a copy. All right. As I mentioned, today the training is for Asabloy Door Group Specialty and Integrated Solutions November training. Today's agenda, we're going to do you a quick introduction of the team that supports these products. We'll give you a very high level product highlights. We'll show you some tools I use to get a hold of quotes or orders for the product or technical questions. And then we'll have a Q&A section at the end. I will keep an eye on the questions that come in. And if I see them relevant during the conversation, I'll either address them then or we'll address them all at the end of the session. To begin with, the team, the Asabloy Door Group has a complete team that manages and supports these specialty products. The head of that team, the general manager, is Howard Schreier. Myself, my name is Mark Strode. I am the manager of technical services for this team. This team does a multiple assignments throughout the product. We'll help build and maintain the tech data in the websites. We keep them updated as we go to labs. We are constantly in the lab upgrading these products. A lot of times, the most recent tech data and literature isn't always available on the website because the website's always catching up, if you will, from us coming out of the labs. We do the actual testing. If you ever see something that you don't have or can't see on the website, get a hold of us and we'll definitely help you out. Our spec interpretation, our technical level of knowledge, we've got over 200 years of experience on this team. We do everything from, we'll interpret the specification from the architect. We'll help write that specification if we do. We'll give advice on hardware recommendations that go with these specialty products. Any level of requirements to supporting that product. We also will do shop drawings. We do complimentary shop drawings in every product. That's unique to the Asabloy Door Group. This is part of the specialty products order. If you choose to take advantage of that, because these products are very highly technical driven and performance based, our shop drawings typically will get through approvals much quicker. They'll have a little better detail than what you might find in some of your own robust systems out there. And then finally, like I mentioned, the research and development, constantly in the lab. We've got fire tests and sound tests, radio frequency tests going on, all within the next 4 months in the first quarter of the next year. So this is ongoing all year long. Inside this team, we handle our own estimating. We've got a group of estimators that will read and interpret those specifications, those plans, those takeoffs that are sent in. And then we also do project management. Project management handles those complementary shop drawings that we mentioned. They'll put the things together. They'll make sure any test data or technical support on those submittals, on those orders, they'll work and included in the submittal. Finally, we have a whole plethora of customer service support. We do our own order processing. We handle all our accounting functions. We've got triage, purchasing, customer service. We've got two great customer service people, ladies on our team, Amy Hankins and Teresa Brown. They split the country and will handle these orders specifically. And they are very well adversed in the technical level of the product also. So specialty products, what are they? Specialty products are different from conventional core hollow metal because they're not so much manufacturing driven, they're a performance driven product. So in a conventional door and frame, the architect might specify the type of material they want it built out of, or the gauge. They might specify the door core, on and on. In specialty products, you're more trying to achieve a specific attribute. You might be trying to get a sound level. You might be trying to get a blast level. And so in this case, that role is kind of reversed, where our shop drawings, we're going to tell you what you're going to get. You're going to get this core, you're going to get this set of seals to accomplish whatever that specification requires. In today's world, with specialty and security being such a high demand, we dress these products up so that they don't make your school, for example, look very institutional. We can add applied molding. We can add stainless steel to this. We can add visions, transom side lights. Really dress these products up really nice to kind of camouflage that security within the building, still keep it in a nice warm environment for people who are using the building itself. Ensemble door and frame continuum includes everything from, on the left here, standard conventional hollow metal, all the way to the right side, the full integrated solutions. The standard products, like we mentioned, is more manufacturer driven. It's a product that's specified for an exact steel, an exact gauge, etc. This is available all throughout the Ensemble Door Group. Sustainable solutions are available both on the core side of the business and the specialty side of the business. We have take very high levels of pride in our sustainable solutions to make sure that they're green and good for the environment. The decorative solutions, like I mentioned, there's multiple levels of this. We can add plastic laminate to it. We can make it out of stainless steel. We can add applied moldings to them. We can get stain grained steel involved, and on and on. There's lots of levels that we can dress these products up for. Today, specifically, we're going to talk about the four on the right here. The four families are the security solutions, the resilient solutions, the intruder protection, and then integrated solutions. And we'll do a mini dive into these products. The first family that we're going to talk about is the intruder resistance family. And it is just what it says. It's to stop an intruder from getting into a secured space. That could be the whole building. That could be a particular room. First product we talked about, and these will be in order of levels of security. Attack resistance. Attack resistance is a product that was created by the FBI after Sandy Hook High School catastrophe. The FBI did some studies out there and created a standard 10.5AA10, which our product has been tested to. This product, the door frame and hardware, is shot 90 times in the test. 30 go into the glass, 30 go into the lock, 30 go into the body of the door. Keep in mind, this is not a bullet resistant product line. These bullets are all passing through the product, peppering the wall on the back side. This is really designed for a shelter-in-place type application where the leader in that room, let's say you're in a classroom, teacher, would grab the students and they would get them out of sight around the corner of the opening. Then the intruder can expend all of their energy on that opening trying to get into that room. Even after being shot 90 times, this door is then put to a 4-minute test with a butt of a gun, a baseball bat, a hammer, etc. And for 4 minutes, that intruder is not getting in there. The whole idea of this is that the intruder will burn energy and burn time while the cavalry has been called and on their way to the site. Also, that after most likely less than like a minute, he's going to give up on that door. He's going to go to the next door. He's going to try the same thing again. He's just burning time. Why 4 minutes for the attack? In that study, the FBI determined that our I'll call it cavalry, be it the military, be it the police, whatever, you get to just about any site in the U.S. in 4 minutes. So it's pretty spectacular that way, and it really does save lots of lives. The next level of product is bullet resistance. Unlike attack resistant, where the bullets pass through, this one does stop the bullets from going through the assembly. You could stand behind this door while it's being shot, and you would be completely safe from bullet fragments, from shrapnel, from glass shards if there's a vision in there, etc. These are tested to the UL 752 standards. The 8 levels you see on the screen today are the most common in the architectural world. I have a question here. And we're going to expand on the thermal break products. All right. Finishing out on the bullet here. With these 8 levels, that's going to cover 90% of your product requirements in the bullet resistant family. There are other levels outside of this. There's a level 9, which it would be armor piercing. There's a level 10, which is a 50 caliber. There's also a whole nother standard out there called the NIJ, National Institute of Justice. And we cover all of these. But again, these 8 levels here are the most common that you're going to see in a project. A lot of times an architect or an end user might not understand what level he's really looking for. The simple answer to that is levels 1 through 3 are handguns. If you're trying to protect against somebody coming in with a handgun. If you're looking at somebody coming in with a rifle, you're looking at levels 4 through 8. Thermal break options on all these products are rare. They're mostly tested in welded frames and with a conventional type profile. So again, they blend in with the rest of the products. When thermal break is required, we will look into maybe value engineering into one of these. Again, these products can go into a design build type application. So if it's available, we definitely can get you there. Some things like the bullet resistant, when you're in a thermal break there, it's not going to be so readily available because the frame has to take the impact of that shot in order to keep that protection in place. Are these products made to accommodate single point and exit device and as opposite to the Mortar 6s? There's a lot of product, depending on what bullet level you have here, it will determine what hardware you want. Your levels 1 through 3 for handguns, they're pretty wide open for hardware options. Mortise lock, concealed exit device. We've got several versions of products that can go with that. As you get up into the higher levels, that door core fills with bullet resistance material inside the door. That starts excluding things like concealed vertical rod. They would have to be converted over to a surface vertical rod. But again, lots of hardware options are available on these products. So next slide here. Next level is blast resistance. This is designed to stop an explosion, a wave of energy from entering that building, ripping that door off, becoming a flying projectile, or maybe even breaking off parts of it. Everyone on the safe side is, again, safe from shrapnel, flying debris, shards of glass, etc. There are different levels of blast resistance out there and different product markets. There's really 4 markets that make it up in the world. That would be your Department of Defense. It would be your government. It'd be veterans administrations. And then finally, petrochemical. All 4 of those have different levels of blast requirements within those market sectors. And blast is very unique per sector. A 2 PSI in petrochemical would be a completely different product than a 2 PSI in Department of Defense. So again, knowing what type of building these go into, knowing whether these products have to maintain a fire resistance after the blast, very important. Sometimes if you're in a lab condition, they have to take on repeat blasts because today's experiment might put an energy force against that door and you don't want to have to replace the door so that tomorrow you can do another experiment. Another place we see repeat is in like a subway station. When the train cars go by and it's just beating on that door, every car that goes by will put that energy wave against that door. Those, again, you want no deformation in the door. You want to receive multiple hits of blast energy, that wind energy that's hitting that door. This product line in Assemblies is available pretty much carte blanche. If it's blast resistant, we can do it. We've got products going through the market, through the factory right now. It has 149 PSI. If you think 1 PSI is 144 PSI, so do your math on that. Every square inch has a PSI, and you've got a 307 doors. And you're over 500,000 pounds of energy hitting those doors. Again, when you get that high level, you get into blast resistance of hardware. And when it gets to a point of conventional hardware no longer can hold the blast, then we start supplying the hardware installed in the doors. So again, up to certain levels, we'll give advice on what hardware you can buy off the shelf that will maintain those levels of blast installed in our blast doors. Above that, we would start supplying the hardware with it. The next level of intruder resistance is forced entry. Forced entry is probably the most misused term of all intruder resistance, because really every level that we've talked about so far is a level of forced entry. Whether it's that guy on attack resistant with a baseball bat, or a guy with the gun shooting, or an explosion, they're all forms of forced entry. So we get to what we call the FEBR, forced entry bullet resistant assembly. It's a formal assembly. Really, you see a lot of it in the government and military. This is the type of door that you'd see in the front of an embassy or a consulate, something like that. It is designed to stop a mob. So the actual test has six persons in very good shape. You see in the picture there, they're swinging a 150-pound two-man ramrod. They're hammering wedges between the door and frame. They've got 6-foot crowbars, sledgehammers, axes, you name it. They're trying to get through that door. This door carries a 5-digit price tag. So it's when an architect says forced entry or an end user says forced entry, this product line, as soon as we say that, either they'll have sticker shock and say, whoa, that's not what I'm looking for, or they'll say, yep, that's it, and it's what they're looking for. The standards out there, Department of State STD.01.01, that standard is a formal FEBR. There's a couple other standards out there, the ASTM 3038, you might see that specified. Again, it's a standard product. So although our customers do have sticker shock, not really understanding what this product may be trying to obtain, the end user usually does not have the sticker shock. If they know what they're asking for, they've specified it properly, they've most likely done their homework and know approximately what the prices are going to be like coming into the bid. The next product lines we're talking about are resilient solutions. First one we'll talk about is flood resistance. You'll notice we say resistant on all these. They're bullet resistant, blast resistant. We're now flood resistant. There's no such thing as proof, right? There's not a flood proof assembly. We see some people misinterpret it that way. There's always deeper water that creates more pressure. There's always a bigger bullet that might take that level of bullet out of its tested solutions. Our flood resistant here is tested up to 36 inches of water. The standard out there is an ANSI FM standard 2510-2014. This is a four-sided frame, and it does have a little leakage. The standard allows 1 gallon of leakage per hour. Our assembly only loses about 4 gallons of water. The test is 22 hours long, so you could lose 22 gallons of water. We lost about 4. The idea here is that you're going to mop up the water with a towel on the safe side of the room versus having to cut all the sheetrock out of the building once that flood resides. So again, it's a very nice assembly for something in the low-lying areas. We've done a lot of these products in New Orleans. Some of the town is built below sea level. You see it every year with the hurricanes coming in. They're going to flood that. They'll let the floodwaters come in. They'll reside. They'll power wash the room down, put in doors and frames. They'll be back open the next day. If you've ever been down to like the French Quarters and stuff, it's all cobblestone, brick. So they don't want to replace those doors. Their area is a very damp area, and it's designed to take on this water and deal with it, and then get back open very quickly after the flood resides. There is one note on this particular product: because it's a four-sided frame with a big sill, it does not meet ADA. So this is not the assembly that you're looking for, designed for the front of house type application. This is designed for your back of house, your pump room. Maybe it's an opening in a berm in the back, some kind of retaining wall that also helps with that flood mitigation. So keep that in mind when looking at this as a solution for you. Lead line products. We offer a wide variety of lead line. The most commons are thicknesses of 1/32 to 1/4 inch. And you do see a wood door on there. Specialty products in Assemblies do carry some wood door products. We've got wood in lead line. We've got wood in sand. We've got wood in bullet. Most of the time, we don't necessarily go to a wood door. It's usually a laminated hollow metal door. But definitely these options are available. We have a long-standing relationship with manufacturing partners out there that will bring these products together as an assembly that we can provide for you on request. The custom profiles are really unlimited. We can lead line just about any hollow metal profile that's out there, and gauges also the same way. In today's world where everyone's worried about or concerned about being green, you have to have a special area to work on lead lining. So this is why we do lead lining in the factory. We've got a special designated area to keep that lead clean and contained. It doesn't get into the water systems out there. Working with lead in the field or outside of a factory that's under controlled environment, you can have some cleanup problems with that lead. These frames come welded. That allows the lead to be continuously protected around the corner of the frame. Stainless steel. And there's two reasons why you would specify a stainless steel door. It's either for aesthetics, you want it to look really nice, or you're looking for corrosion resistance. And there's obviously that option that those would combine. But remember, everything's corrosive. Even stainless steel, the best stainless steel out there is going to corrode if it's not maintained well. So it always needs to go through that cleaning, through that proper maintenance in order to minimize any corrosion. There's two types of stainless steel out there. There's a 304 and a 316. They're common within the hollow metal industry. 304 would be used for your aesthetics. That would be an opening that may be in a lobby, maybe be in a casino. Maybe it's sitting right next to an elevator and they want to blend in with the elevator itself. Again, 304 is for aesthetics. It's a little less expensive. It comes with standard finishes, a brushed, a mirror finish, or a satin finish. We have some special finishes that we also offer outside of the United States. XL Blend, for example, is a very high demanded finish in Canada. These products we can build in a wide variety of sizes. They can come with visions. They'll come with their own being kit as an integral part of the door itself. All these products we're talking about today have seamless edges, including the stainless steel. There are no hems or seams in there. So when you're working on these corrosion resistance or in clean room type applications, you don't have that gap or that seam in there to deal with. The door is completely sealed. Interesting fact, when you're working in a clean room type environment around food, maybe it's in a cafeteria, they have to pass FDA, Food Drug Administration requirements. This door meets that requirement. Any sealants that are used in the door are fully edible. they have met the FDA requirements. You could chew on the door and you would not get sick. Won't recommend that, but that is a case, and we do see that in some requirements. Water resistance. This is a product line that is designed for your lab type environments or an area that's always in wet environments. They are sealed components. Unlike flood resistance, which stops water from traveling from one side of the assembly to the other, these are sealed components where the water will not travel into the component itself. For example, the door has hinge reinforcements, has a lock reinforcement. All those reinforcements have an internal sealed system so that you can actually take this door, dunk it underwater, and no moisture would get to the core of the door. And that's really important in a lab type environment where they don't want any cross-contamination in experiments, or if you're in a very wet, humid area where you don't want any moisture in there, because moisture will cause mildew, mold. You may have a pest issue if you get moisture inside there. It also helps from corroding that door from the inside out, where you can't get in there and do the proper maintenance. So these sealed products, very good in those type of applications. And again, on the frames, every hardware prep that's in that frame has a chamber inside that's completely sealed. No water will get into the wall through the frame, through any weld or any hardware prep. All of these products we're talking about today come in hybrid type applications also. We can, because also Oblate offers such a wide breadth of product lines, we can take these requirements. Let's say you had a water resistance and a bullet resistant requirement. We take those two requirements, we overlay them over each other, and then we can design, build a specific assembly that could meet both. So we see a lot of blast bullet, stainless sound, on and on. All these can be combined into making those hybrid assemblies. The next family of products that we're talking about is the security solution. Acoustical being by far our biggest product line of the specialty teams products, probably about 60% of what we do today. It's we're very proud of this product line. We believe we lead the industry in lots of its areas. For example, we have a wood door. It's an STC 53, only 1 3/4 inches thick. Meets all your ADA requirements. This door is not available by any wood door manufacturer out there. As a true wood door at 1 3/4 inches thick, just doesn't exist unless you're buying it from us, Oblate. That's a 53. We've got metal doors that go up to 54. We have a communicating system that goes up to 66. Communicating system would be similar to a connecting room between two hotel rooms. We open the one door and then you've got the second door there to the other room. That's a communicating system. We supply those for recording studios. You put one door on a hold open. The other door is a very easy egress, normal traffic type door. When it's time to record, you shut the second door. You've got a STC 66, extremely quiet assembly. We offer side lights, transoms, borrowed lights, on and on. We have pairs, wide variety of product lines in this particular product type. On this product, similar to like bullet and blast, they're tested assemblies. So when we talk about glass and doors, the doors become factory glazed. The glass and glazing and installation are all included. In sound, there's a lot of unique components that come along with that installation. In the borrowed lights, a lot of times these have dual glazing, one on each side of the stop. There's a gap 3 to 5 to 8 inches between the panes of glass. We ship that glass loose so that allows the job site to finish paint that frame between the panes of glass. You can see that in a frame. And we have really good installation instructions that come with that, with all the extra accessories to ensure that that gets installed just right on site so that it will maintain your sound rating requirements. The sound rating in your spec is usually STC rating. That's a lab test rating. There's also field ratings out there, sometimes known as FSTC, NIC. There's a couple different nomenclature for that field rating. Keep in mind that a lab tested door is in an absolute perfect, pristine environment. The humidity is controlled, the temperature is controlled, the size of the rooms are controlled, on and on. In the field, we know nothing's perfect. There's tolerances, plus or minus a plumbness of the frame installation, or the level of the floor, or the squareness of the frame being installed into the wall. So to accommodate all these tolerances, building tolerances throughout that are surrounding this assembly, the field rating should be no more than 5 points from the lab rating. So if you have an STC 54 assembly, that's a lab tested, you should be experiencing no less than FSTC 49 in the field. Keep in mind, there is a difference between what you're going to achieve in the field and what you're going to achieve in the lab itself. And that's all how the spec is written. Our next product we talk about is RF shielding. Very similar to acoustics. Acoustical rating was knocking down audible sound, what you're hearing from me today right now. Also, the RF shielding is then knocking down cyber sound, listening from a satellite. Listening from that satellite, as the world becomes more and more virtual, more and more living in the cloud, that information needs to be protected. So this RF shielding product is growing rapidly. It's a product line that we get a lot of questions on. It's almost always a hybrid because it makes sense. The RF shielding, radio frequency shielding, if you don't want them listening from cyber, you probably don't want them listening audibly either. So acoustic and sound rated, it's kind of like a perfect marriage. There's really, when you have RF shielding, very, very few times do we ever see not require an STC rating at the same time. With sound and RF, these frames don't always have to be grouted. We've got a question in here about sound insulation to get to the hollow metal. One thing that we would always tell you to completely avoid, that's foam filling the sound. All right, foam is a fantastic insulator for thermal. It's an absolute terrible insulator for sound. Sound goes right through. The advantage, the high-end acousticals, the high-end RFs, they're grouted in. If you get to, we've got product tested to a STC 51 that is not grouted in. It is filled, the frame is filled with a 10-pound mineral or greater. You really need that density. And that's why your sprayed foams don't knock down the sound. They don't have the density. It takes density to knock down sound. But that 10-pound mineral wool, definitely you pack that frame full, you're going to get an STC 51 assembly out there. So there are some options. And as that sound rating reduces even further, you can get into some standard rock wools of a 4-pound density. You get down to 46. And eventually, when you get low enough, maybe into lower 30s, you're working with just a hollow frame. It's all about the seals and the door core at that point. hopefully that answers your questions out there. The next product line we're going to talk about is Right Door. Right Door is a product that's been around for a long time. It is a product that's recently been brought into the specialty products team to manage and to support. This product line, if you're not familiar with it, is typically used in cross-quarter type applications. The medical field has a lot of these. It's designed with low-profile hardware. If you look at the picture there, you'll see the exit device barely sticks out of that door. This is designed because the door is in a hold open position all the time and things going down that hallway. You won't have gurneys catching on it, wheelchairs, grandma's medicine tree, going down that hall. It's low profile, designed not to hook on this stuff. And really, these doors would never be used because they're used only in a fire. They're on a hold open type position. And when there's a fire alarm, they release, they close, and they segregate that building down into multiple sections to slow any kind of spread out there. So they're almost always fire rated, for that simple requirement right there. We also see them in front of elevator shafts. They shut down that elevator shaft. So you'll see them throughout the buildings. But again, a lot of times in the medical field, there's multiple types of hardware finishes. The wood doors are not available today, but that we can do a plastic laminate finish on these wood doors, and they can be customizable. What you need, we definitely can get that offering for you out there. Right Slide is our newest product to our family. This product line, we started, we're running just under 2 years now, and it was designed to take better advantage of the floor space in a building. That floor space, it was again designed in the medical field. It's designed, every exam room out there, we all know what they look like. You got the bed in there, you got the computer desk in there, you got the sink in there, and then the chair that you're going to sit on for waiting for your doctor or during your visitation. In that room, you have to have enough floor space for ADA to allow that wheelchair accessing. This eliminates that little space right there required for the door slam because it's a sliding door. They need ADA, so you could take that room and you can make it smaller. And so that bank of maybe 8 exam rooms along the side of a wall, you can now fit 10 exam rooms in that same stretch of area. So again, it's just taking more advantage of the floor space that you have available. What's interesting we're seeing out there today, coming off the COVID world, is architects are starting to ask questions of how can we create office space for individual workers and maintain the most efficiency of that floor space. So we haven't seen a lot of them yet, but we definitely are talking to architects that are working on these designs to segregate buildings up into individual offices. This sliding door will be advantageous in those types of applications because you can make your room smaller and still meeting ADA out. All right, we're going to show you some tools now that we've gone through some products. I think I've been hitting all the questions as they've been coming in. So if you've got more questions or I haven't hit them yet, please resend them and I will stay on that as I'm going through here. So ASA ABLOY is quite a big organization, as we all know. The specialty team here that we're talking about today is a very small custom build type application team inside Giant ASA ABLOY. We have created email repositories for you out there in the field to communicate directly through all the minutia right to us. So if you've got quote requests, if you've got orders, or if you've got technical questions, we've got examples here on this slide for the specialty pricing .seco or .curries .pioneer. Fill in the brand of ASA ABLOY in there at asaabloy.com. That will get your quote request right to us. We turn quotes around in 48 hours. We're about 98% successful with that. There's always those few out there that are super custom. They're going to take a little bit longer. Maybe they have some outsourced components that we'll have to give price on in order to do that. Those are more of the design builds. For the majority, they do turn in 48 hours. So anybody that needs help out there with those, that would be great. Great solution there. Use that repository. If you've got an order out there and you want to get that placed into production, in today's world, lead times are long. Supply chain is a challenge for everybody. You want to get that order in front of us just as quickly as possible. So when you're sending those orders in, you send it to specialty orders. Fill in the brand name at asabloy.com. That gets it right to our team. We do our own order processing, and we'll make sure that that order gets onto the factory floor just as soon as possible. Finally, there's a technical support out there. I'm one of the main leads to man that technical support. It is supported by a complete team. So if you have questions anywhere from, hey, what hardware do I need in this opening, or what are my maintenance instructions on this? Do you have installation instructions, copy of warranty, you name it. If you've got a question out there, that's specialtyproducts.techsupport@asabloy.com. That's the place to go to for that. It is not a branded, specific branded repository. That's because we know out there that the end users, the architects, when they're first writing specs, it's not always, they don't always know which Asabloy brand. Is it Secor? Is it going to be Curtis today? What brand is going to end up on that product? We manage all the brands. So we've got that out there more generically listed than the others, just so that you don't have to worry about which brand that early in the job. And we know you want Asabloy out there. We'll help you get that Asabloy product. We'll worry about the specific brand as we get into the product. Every Friday afternoon, there's a lead time sheet goes out. This is really important, especially again in today's world where these lead times are starting to get extended out there due to the supply chain challenges out there in the world. Where the blue circle is on there, that's the specialty products that we've talked about today. Those products, the lead times hold fairly solid. This is an old one, so don't use this as an example necessarily. It's April 3rd of 2020, then it comes out every Friday. If you're not on that or would like to be on that, get a hold of any of us, and we'll be happy to get you on that email list. It's very handy when you're doing milestone reports and project schedules in order to figure out what you need to get that project completed. Finally, we talk about quoting. I said most quotes are in 48 hours. We know that's not always fast enough. You need it faster than that. The world's just going at super speed, right? We've created these quick quote forms. This is an electronic form that if you're looking for a quote request, you fill that out electronically. You hit the green submit button down in the corner, submit it electronically. It'll pop up a pre-addressed email address where you can add others to that email string. You can add a document to there if you need to see an elevation or a specification. And then when you hit submit, it comes right to us. Again, that's a conduit directly to our team so that we can help you out, get that quote turned around. When a quote request comes in on this electronically, filled in properly, quotes are turned in half the time, 24 hours or less. Many quotes turn around in just a couple hours from when they come in. It's something that we went to the field a couple of years ago saying, how can we improve on supporting the field? And quicker quotes was by far the highest request. So we have created these tools in order to fulfill that requirement out there. We are listening to the field. So this is available in bullet resistant, glass, lead line, stainless steel, SEC right door. And just recently, last week, we rolled out one for RF shielding. So that was the latest one. If you don't have copies of this, definitely get a hold of us and we'll help you out. And here it is. The next step is getting the order quicker, right? We got all the quotes done quicker. There are some product selector guides. We just rolled this out this last week, November 10th. This is really a document that we're hoping the field really takes advantage of. Your lead time will be significantly reduced. we're not saying it's going to be in days, but if you've got a 10-week lead time on sound, this could easily take 2 weeks off of that lead time. It's got a lot of information in there of the different types of assemblies that are out there. Remember, sound is a tested assembly. The door, frame, vision kit, hardware, glass, all is tested together in order to get that STC ready. This 5-page document has all of that information in there for you. So again, electronic form, you fill it out electronically, submit it electronically, and your lead time will be reduced. Again, that conversation we had out there at the field, that's the second most popular was get my quote faster and then get my order here faster. So these are tools that we've created to help you out in the field achieve those requests. Again, I just want to touch on the tech support. This is a help desk for anybody out there. If you have a question, I believe we're still answering all of them that are coming in, but I understand how it goes. You can get off this call and you're going to instantly have a question that you forgot to ask. Send it on into that tech support. Those questions are answered. Typically in 24 hours, you'll have a response. You'll get an auto response that we received it, and then you'll get the response to your question in 24 hours. Some of the documents that we see asked for out there, and these are just samples. We have hardware recommendations. We have maintenance guides. We have troubleshooting. These are documents that are not necessarily found on the websites because they are in the design build prototypes. But definitely, if you can't find something on the website, we have a lot of information on the website. That's good. But these documents are also available out there. We have tech data sheets, or one-pagers, if you will, of every one of our assemblies, be it sound, bullet, stainless, blast, RF shielding, you name it. And this will be a very high-level specification in the middle of the page there. You'll have an assembly drawing in there. You'll see some of the vision kit options, some seals or protection at the meeting styles and pairs. If there's mullions in their stainless, you have the finishes. So these are very, very helpful tech data sheets. If you ever need anything like that, definitely get a hold of us on that tech data support hotline, and we will get that out to you. Finally, we want to talk about the domestic requirements out there, the government regulations. There's 4 main ones out there. Buy America Act, Buy American Act with an N, if you notice that N in bold. That actually has 2 forms to it, a Buy American Act, BAA, or BAA under trade agreements. The FARs out there, FAR 522259 or 522211, that is very important to know the difference between those two. Come back to that in a second. And then the AIS, or American Iron and Steel. We can manufacture to any of these requirements. Asablo has multiple factories out there. And these factories are not necessarily all in the United States. We have one in Canada, we have 2 in Mexico. When we're quoting products or supplying products, sometimes they require one of these. BAA is not Buy America Act. That is very misconstrued, even to the government, to create guidelines that are just changed by the N at the end of America, turned into American. But the Buy America Act and the AIS, American Iron and Steel Act, that has to be 100% domestic. It's the Buy America Act. We think of it like planes, trains, and automobiles. If it has anything to do with the Department of Transportation, it's most likely going to require a Buy America Act required product. And that product has to have 100% US components and has to be 100% made in the United States. Again, we can do that on any of the products. American Iron and Steel is the same way. It's 100% domestic steel and manufactured in the United States. Why do we emphasize this so much? Is because it can affect your cost. We have products that each plant specializes in. So our plant in Tijuana might specialize in sound components, for example. But if you need that built as a US manufactured domestic product, it may have to come to one of our other factories. That factory is not necessarily primary focus on sound, so the cost goes up because it's not that factory's specific product. And also we have a labor advantage building in Mexico. We all know that. That's why people are down there. But when it comes in the US, salaries are a little bit higher. So there's going to be a cost impact. Very important if you're an architect to get that in the specification somewhere so it's not missed. We do try everything we can to protect quote requests that are coming in. Again, that Buy America is planes, trains, and automobiles. The American Iron and Steel, really your waterways. It's your federal dams, it's your wastewater treatment plants, that type of place. And they want to make sure they control the type of steel, make sure there's no leaching off of that steel getting into our waterways. So there's good reasons why these are in place. We just have to know about it up front. And with the two Buy American, I said I would come back to that. Buy American Act and the Buy American Act with trade agreements really depends on how big that project is. Not the order of the hollow metal. It's how big the solicited project value is. And the magic line is 10.88 million. Over or underline would depend on which one of those come into play. So again, I don't want to get too far into the weeds, but it's really important to identify these. If it's there, put it on your quote request. We'll qualify it as such, make sure you're covered, and make sure if you're looking at other competitors' quotes that they've got it also covered, because they've got the same requirements that we do in order to meet these requirements. With that said, that wraps up our training today. If there are any questions, I will definitely be glad to take them. I'm not seeing anybody out there. With that, I'll wrap it up. I will give you, looking at my questions, yep, they're all there. All right, so again, thank you for taking your time today. Remember, in about 24 hours, you will receive an email confirmation, good for 1 credit hour. If you don't see that, please check your junk email. We see people that it does land in the junk mail once in a while. Make sure you pull that out so you can keep that in your record. So thank you very much. I think I have another question in here. Yeah, all right. I do have a couple more questions coming in, so I'll hit these real quick. You clad the frames or make it all stainless steel. So our stainless steel products are true stainless steel. We do not clad stainless steel. It is welded, you see, continuously welded on the edge of the frames, everything is, and the edges of the doors. It is true stainless steel product. We have a question out there. What material do you infill hollow metal frames? I'm assuming that is referencing to the sound products. It's a 10-pound mineral wool. Will get you to a STC 51. Greater than 51, you've got to grow out the frames. We have installation instructions that go out with those products, either in our shop drawings, and they also get shipped with the product on site so that the installers also get a look at that. Gauges for that sound. I'm assuming you're still talking on sound. Gauges for our frames are typically 14 gauge. Gauges for the doors are typically 16 gauge. For acoustic performance, again, the 10-pound mineral wool. If you get into less sound rating, and I'll say probably down into the lower 40s, you can start getting away with fiberglass, and then even lower, I'm going to say probably in about a STC 30, you're going to get into shell frame. I will also add with your bullet and blast, the other product lines that we've talked about today, they're tested empty, hollow. So grouting a bullet frame doesn't affect the bullet. It's not required for bullet, doesn't hurt the bullet either. Same with blast or RF. Those are all very similar. Now, if the RF has a sound with it, you got to follow the sound requirements. So hopefully I've got all your questions out there answered for those. I don't see any others out there. So thank you again for joining and have a great day.